Hello, Barendipitous here with a new video for the board game shelf. Here I'm talking about air, land, and sea. So this is I got I got several board games for Christmas this past Christmas, and this is one of them. I asked for air, land, and sea as well as the sequel, Spies, Lies, and Supplies. I got Air, Land, and Sea, and I'm pretty happy about it. So the reason I was excited about this is not only is it a cool like little two-player game here, but also this along with Marvel Snap has mechanics that I'm interested in trying to implement for the Brawlhalla card game that I'm developing. Right, so um, yeah. So Air, Land, and Sea, it does have so people who are familiar with Marvel Snap can see some similarities with at least with some very basic things. Obviously, this has very much a war like a modern war kind of military theme here, and basically the goal of the game is to win 2 out of 3 uh, Marvel Snap would call it locations, but this game calls them theaters. We have the air theater, the land theater, and the sea theater, right? You basically place them out like this, and you play cards, your opponent plays cards, and so forth, right? What's interesting to me, though, is that this game is really small. Like this right here, this is all of the cards for the entire game. You and your opponent each draw I believe 6 cards or something like that. So there's a total of like 18 cards here. You and your opponent each draw like 6 of them at random, and that's what you have. There's some reference cards here. But yeah, you really just have the cards in your hand, and you can do a couple of things on your you can do a couple of things in your turn. I believe you can just sort of like play. You can withdraw early if you want. And depending on when you withdraw, that's how many points you give your opponent. And you win when you are the first to get 12 points. That's what these things are for, to kind of keep track of how many points, victory points you have, right? If you withdraw earlier, then you give your opponent fewer points, right? Like, if you're the first player and if you withdraw and you have like 3 cards in your hand, then your opponent gets 3 points out of 12, right? But if you withdraw later in the game, you have 0 cards, your opponent gets 6 points. So, and you don't, I believe you don't draw. I haven't actually played this game myself, but I have watched a video or two on how it is played, and so I understand basically how it works. But yeah, you don't draw. You really just have the like 6 or so cards in your hand, and that's your whole thing. Each card is of course unique, and they each go to a different theater, right? Like obviously this one, the green, this goes to land. It looks like these are all air cards. Obviously I haven't shuffled or anything. Then we have a bunch of sea cards, right? They also of course each have a value. That's how many. That's like kind of like that card's strength. And you win a theater if at the end of a round, if at the end of a game you have more points on your side than on the opponent. Normally in Marvel Snap, the cards are played like this, right? In a grid like that, right? But in here, from what I can tell, you play your cards like this, and so you just show the. It's very easy to see all the numbers together and all the various like continuous or instant effects. I believe lightning bolt is an instant effect, and the infinity symbol is a continuous effect. Very easy. Also, one thing you can do is you can choose to not play a card like this, but simply I think do something called improvise, where you play a card face down like this, which means that you would get 2 points for that card, and that is the case for every single one of these. And there are some cards that let you flip over. Flip an uncovered card in an adjacent theater, right? So that's another thing. Like, I believe the uncovered thing means that if you have something like this, you would not be able to flip these 2 top cards because they're covered. You could only flip this one, which in this case would be good because you go from 1 point to 2 points with that. So you gained an extra point by doing that. Really cool. I love that. What kinds of mechanics from this would I want to put in the Brawlhalla card game? I'm not 100% sure. I really like giving each card a set value if you just place it face down. I really appreciate the simplicity here because the like currently because I've used in the way that the Brawlhalla card game Odin's Conquest is now, I kind of have it. I mean, I've borrowed a lot of things from Marvel Snap, and a lot of them is like giving plus or minus strength to individual cards, which requires a bunch of tokens that you have to place on them to kind of indicate that. And there's a little bit of that. I can see this one says you gain +3 strength in each adjacent theater, but as far as I can tell, there isn't much in the way of like plus or minus strength. It's just kind of you just read the numbers and that's it. And also just in general, just pay attention to continuous effects. Which this is one of them. So of course, the Brawlhalla card game will have over like 60 cards because at least one for each legend, and decks will have like you'll have 12 decks and stuff. So you're still playing with about the same amount of cards generally, because you usually play about half your deck in Marvel Snap or Odin's Conquest right now, but. I might do things to kind of like try to simplify things more, so you won't have to fiddle around with nearly as many tokens. I don't know. Well, we'll see. Or I might keep things as is. But if nothing else, I'm very happy to have this game because this is like this is a very very cool like very self-contained and very short game, and you could again like the way that you're meant to play it is you play multiple games until someone wins 12 points, basically. And Spies, Lies, and Supplies, the sequel to this, is also a standalone thing where essentially you like the 3 theaters have to do with like espionage and like spying and stuff like that, right? But you can mix and match theaters between the 2 games as well. So I do hope to get Spies, Lies, and Supplies at some point to be able to have all of that. But having this game is fantastic. I love the simple design yet very strategic, and it just very exciting to me, and it's very cool. So fantastic game design work. I find it very inspiring, and yeah, I am very happy to have this, and I'm very happy to got this for Christmas. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, all the best.